Well, it's another Wednesday morning, which means we've got AM Biz, brought to you by EcoBank, the Pan-African bank. Now, today, we focus our lenses on the Cedi's depreciation against the dollar.
10 a.m. at Abosokai, and activities here are slow. The Cedi depreciation is already biting. The interbank rate of the dollar against the Cedi that was in 2017 was going for some 4.3 Ghana cedis against $1. Today, the forex rates are really going out of gear. As much as 5 cedi to the dollar is what is being quoted at 7 forex bureaus. The people that really get affected are people right here. About 5,000 importers of spare parts here at Abosokai. What they indicate is that, well, their profits are fast eroding, and if nothing is done about it, several of them could lay off certain workers that work with them, or probably even close their shops. Importers feel the pinch first from the point where they have to change cedis into dollars to import, then at the ports where they have to get their wares cleared. Ghana charges in dollars for import duties. Importers will have to find the exact amount in cedis and pay. That, for importers, coupled with the performance of the Cedi, is just too much.
Even the amounts we pay on duties itself goes higher because they use the dollar to calculate the duties for us. So basically, it compounds the problem, because when we have to exchange, we have to use more cedis to get the dollar, and then when the goods also comes in, we have to pay more. So at the end of the day, it kind of affects us in a way. It affects us in a way. Besides that, when people normally say that, oh, when it happens like that, we only add up to the price. But here's a case that people are not even buying.
Within a space of 3 months, profits have eroded by close to 60%.
If it goes on like this, a lot of our people, or a lot of the businessmen in Ghana, will be out of business. Because how long can you keep on adding? It will come to a time all your capital will go away, and even if you have to even borrow from the bank, the banks are not going to borrow to you freely. Definitely you have to pay, and you all know the interest rates currently at the bank, even though policy rate is going down, but the banks are not they are not responding. On a scale of 1 to 100, I would say it has eaten into our profit maybe about 60%. Yes, about
within 60. What period of time?
Within these 3-4 months that the Cedi has fallen, and if it continues like that, it will go further.
Capital flight in the case of multinationals and its resultant effect on the currency cannot be swept under the carpet. Here are the spare parts hub, foreign retailers, and the activities Clement Boateng, organizing secretary of GUTA, says is also pushing them out of business.
The multinationals which are in this country doing business here, at the end of the day, they repatriate all their profits back home. You see, and you can see the number of multinationals. Even if one telecom company is repatriating its profits back home, you can imagine it will be such a huge amount. So we recommended to the government that they should try as much as possible, to talk to the multinationals, so that at least they don't repatriate all their profits back home, but at least maybe 30% of it should remain. Yes, should remain. All those foreigners who are in the retail trade, at the end of the day, we all go to the same source, to have our foreign exchange. And how many containers does a Ghanaian businessman bring into the country the whole year? Maybe 20 or 30 containers. But these foreigners can bring in as many as 100 containers in a month. There is one Chinese man at Odoko. You can go there right now and see the number of containers that he's offloading. You see, at the end of the day, we all go to the same source. So if government will heed to the call of GUTA, to check these foreigners in the retail trade, it will also have a very positive impact on our foreign exchange.
We are off to Blue Skies, a free zones company exporting several tons of fruits. Interestingly here, we gather the company is really benefiting from the free fall. The same period last year, the company made losses of £1 million when the cedi was strong against the dollar. Today, the story is different, as the depreciation has saved the company as much as £800,000.
I think it's been allowed to ease up. We know the government still has plans of propping it up, managing it from the central bank as part of monetary policy. But its effect is being seen clearly. Last year, when the exchange rate was being managed, we experienced losses of about £1 million sterling, just to drive home the quantum of effect. This year, it's in the region of some £200,000, which is far better, and all that seeps straight to the bottom line and improves our profitability. So, yeah, for this half year of the year so far, I think it's been far better compared to previous year.
But of course, your operations are not just for exports. You have workers that you're paying here. You have purchases that you make locally.
Yeah.
You have equipment that you need to probably import parts to fix.
Yeah.
And so for you, it's not just a win-win situation all the time, is it?
Let's look at the components of our cost or of our operation. We buy fruits locally, that's in cedis. We pay salaries, as you rightly say, labor is in cedis. There is an appreciable level of local overheads, machine repairs, maintenance. We buy fuel to run our generators when we can't rely on the national grid. And these are all local cost components. So if the cedi is allowed to ease, then naturally we need less and less amount of pound sterling to afford the same amount of cedi, like I said earlier. So yes, all culminates into a very good outlook for us.
Finance lecturer with the University of Ghana, Dr. Lord Mensah, says the cedi must be allowed to fall. He says the cedi has been sustained artificially for far too long. So I asked, at what rate should it be allowed to slide?
We've been having these short-term interventions all these years, isn't it? And it looks like wherever we find the cedi to the dollar relationship, it looks like more of artificial, level for which it cannot be sustained. So why don't we look at the natural level so that at the end of the day, you get to know what moves the dollar permanently, rather than, that kind of interventions here and there, and it kind of, let me put it, artificial, dollar cedi relationship. It's not clear.
What would you say the natural limit should be or will be if we had decided
if I'm going by my projections, it's quite dynamic. As of last year, looking at my projections, we're looking at around five Ghana cedis to per dollar, because I always match it with KFC. If I go and buy KFC, how much I spend. Anything that I'm buying that has foreign taste, how much I spend in terms of cedi, and relate it to the dollar. And it will tell you that on the average, to get a meal of KFC, you are spending around $5, which in advance, it might not necessarily be. Maybe I factor in transportation and all those things that has foreign, if you collect a basket of foreign, items, it would tell you that, you're talking about, 5 cedi per the dollar. But then it's quite dynamic. So for now, I'm looking at around 5.3 as we speak.
Dr. Lord Mensah blames the Bank of Ghana entirely and not the strengthening of the dollar internationally being touted by the central bank.
As we speak now, we've not identified those shocks yet. Now, we attribute the cedi to the dollar relationship to several things. I can also tell you that it has to do with spillover of information from the regulator level to the market, especially the black market. I can tell you there are moles within the Bank of Ghana. They know when the buffer is depleting, and they know when they trigger the market out there. They have relationships with the forex bureaus for which they trigger information to them that, hey, the buffer is depleting. Now, this is the time to hold your dollar. If you don't have it now, this is the time to buy more dollar. So at the end of the day, it has to do with information flow. So the regulator needs to look at in-house how information comes up. And like I told you, if the government intends to spend, that intention alone, can easily,
destabilize the market.
Destabilize the market, because they know very well that the government will withdraw the dollar from the buffer. Once there's that depletion and there's demand on the dollar, you can't have it. So price keeps on going up.
But we need to develop, isn't it?
Yes, we need to. But then how do we develop? Like I told you, we need to identify our strength as a country. Go back to the Adam Smith economics. Identify your strength, get to know the competitive edge within that strength, and then make sure that you diversify your export.
The cedi depreciated by 26.12% in 2017 against over 7% this year. At this rate, it's obvious the cedi is not under lock and key, as the Vice President said in 2017. Perhaps it's time to take a look at how the currency is managed.